came from China, homie. Everything comes from China. It's disgusting.
You hear it often these days in the US. A caller on the radio, passers-by in the street, on the subway, and even, if you're honest, occasionally among friends and neighbors.
Trump says all Asians have coronavirus, you disgusting.
But these are words of hate, and the New York Police Department's had enough.
I'm here today to talk about the new Asian Hate Crimes Task Force.
Despite facing $1 billion of cuts, the NYPD is creating an Asian Hate Crimes Task Force to tackle attacks on Asians, physical and verbal, in the era of coronavirus.
Asian New Yorkers were attacked on trains, buses, parks, restaurants, and walking in their own neighborhoods.
The NYPD says between March and the beginning of August, New York City saw 21 reported anti-Asian hate crimes, for which there were 17 arrests. The task force is comprised of 25 Asian-speaking officers who all speak a different language, whether it's Mandarin, Cantonese, Fukienese, Korean, Japanese, or Tagalog. It was the brainchild of NYPD Deputy Inspector Stuart Liu.
It's a huge statement, and it's saying that we care about Asian Americans. It says that the NYPD supports social justice, and that the NYPD will not tolerate racism or discrimination of any kind.
The NYPD suspects that many more hate crimes against Asians have gone unreported for fear of reprisals. In Manhattan's Chinatown, people are generally reluctant to appear on camera. But Wellington Chen's heard many of their stories and says the attacks were expected by Chinese people living in the US as soon as COVID-19 spread here.
One of the things is that we consulted with crisis management experts early on, and they warned us that says it's unavoidable historically during this type of pandemic, they need to blame somebody. It's similar to a knee-jerk reaction. As a result of this pandemic, alcoholism rate went up, domestic violence rate went up, and the need to blame somebody rate also went up.
Websites like this one by AAPI have been set up to help people report physical and verbal attacks too.
This is very important because prior to this, all we had was translator, and as everyone knows, translators cannot build rapport, they cannot do investigation. So this is a milestone in investigative NYPD investigations.
But for it to be successful, victims must speak up. And the hope is the new task force will encourage Asians who feel targeted to do just that. John Terrett, CGTN, New York.